We're here at the MTC today at the Robotics and Automation Conference. It's something that we organise specifically to enable the sharing of knowledge between different organisations, from academics all the way through to end users, trying to bring the robotics automation community together.
Automation is one of the prime ways in which we can do that. And by increasing productivity, we can improve the competitiveness and profitability of companies, but we can also reduce the price of goods to consumers ultimately, which is good for everyone.
The key challenges that we see in manufacturing today are really around productivity, labour availability and skills.
The key challenges, I would say, are actually opportunities. So the first is scaling, so being able to increase capacity and output. Being more productive and efficient, I would say, is number two. So that means how can we make sure we are using all of our equipment and our sites and our staff as efficiently as possible. And then the third is actually hiring and maintaining a really great trained, skilled workforce.
The persistent headache for the sector is skills and how businesses can attract and retain staff. And really that's where we see robotics and automation playing a really key role in enabling businesses to adopt automation in parts of their business where perhaps things are more manual, and you could utilise your staff in other areas where it's more value add.
There has been a massive age gap between 20 years ago and now with people learning welding. So it's important for us because we want to get people excited about welding, and we want to upskill their welding jobs to make them have an easier life.
The main problem we see in a lot of industries is lack of skilled and unskilled people. There's a real shortage of people that want to go into dirty, dusty, dangerous environments, which is understandable. You can imagine nobody really wants to work in those environments. So it's very difficult for a lot of companies to recruit people to do these really mundane tasks. And quite often it's just a simple pick and place job that a robot can easily do.
There's always this news about robots taking people's jobs and that kind of thing, but really it's not. It's about fulfilling roles that they can't find people to do. And robots are very good at repetitive tasks, the boring kind of jobs that humans don't want to do. So they can implement robotics, take over from the humans, and then humans can move on to roles which are much more interesting and that they're much better at.
So our experience working with robots has been really positive. We started our journey about 4 years ago. A large part of our workforce are welders, highly skilled welders. And for us to grow, we needed to really look at that. It was quite difficult to keep expanding the workforce, especially that a lot of the work that we're looking for is high volume, value add. And so really a robotic welder became like the answer to our kind of quandary of how can we keep hiring if some of the work is a bit repetitive and not as interesting to a highly skilled welder. So our first robot we acquired 4 years ago, and she's called Zelda. Since then we've been able to apply it to many other parts for other clients. The second robotic welder we invested in was a cobot. So a cobot is a robot that works alongside a welder. And what I would say is that's been our experience in terms of the hardware, but the training and bringing the team along has been incredible. So from the very beginning, we've always explained this as it's to help enhance their work. It's never a threat. It's always something that's going to empower them. They'll be trained to do more than just their normal role. And it means we're going to get more interesting work. We're going to grow as a company. It's been really important to us not just to bring the robotics and automation in, but to explain every step of the way how important it is to the team and get their buy-in.
We've just had presentations from two SMEs in particular, Walsall Wheelbarrow and Bloom in Box. I love both of their stories. They're both small businesses. They're not necessarily high-tech businesses that you'd expect to be using lots of technology, but they've undertaken the journey, they've figured out how to do it, and they're gaining significant benefits in both of their businesses through the use of robots and automation.
The UK manufacturing environment quite often is a little bit frightened of new technology. They'd rather step back I think as a nation we'd rather step back and let it be proven somewhere else first. Whereas other European countries, for instance, are quite happy to adopt new technology and not interested in taking on old technology.
Driving the adoption of robotics in the UK is something of a challenge. We are 23rd in terms of our robot density, the number of robots per 10,000 workers. So we are behind our major competitors. One of the issues is our manufacturing sector is largely made up of SMEs. Over 90% of businesses in the UK are SMEs, and therefore we need to provide them with help. They don't have the experience or the expertise to adopt this kind of technology. So we need to provide them with independent support to take them through the journey for the first time, so they learn how to do it, they gain the benefits, hopefully with projects that are relatively risk-free, to ensure that they implement a successful solution the first time. Then they understand the benefits, they learn how to do it, and they can then undertake the journey for themselves in the future.
There's a big job of work around the education piece, because there is still not enough awareness of how vital automated processes in manufacturing, robotics, how vital they can be to not just to build things more effectively, but to enable businesses to expand. It's also important to reassure workers and people out there in society that the robots aren't here breaking down the doors and stealing your jobs. They're actually helping the business that you work for or want to work for, helping them to develop really interesting product lines which will enable them to expand here in the UK, but also potentially to trade internationally, which will be really good for their profit margins and therefore for pay and conditions. But also there's something really important about the nature of the jobs that people will do in industries and businesses which have more automation and robotics. So the jobs are more around design, programming, and they're more interesting jobs, and they're less mundane, and they're higher skilled. And because they're higher skilled, they're better paid.
This year, it's the 4th year that we've run this event. It's bigger in terms of we've got more exhibitors than we've ever had before.
One of the things that I've been most struck by is the intensity of the kind of networking that's going on when people have to be called into the auditorium to start the session because there's such a kind of buzz of conversation. I think that tells you that the connections are being made.
It's great to see the innovation and technology and how far we've come with how robots can support businesses today.
A lot of pretty good researchers are working in the robotic business, and I'm surprised that so many industry awareness is created here at this place, which is fantastic, because we have to bring research and industry together to make this happen.
I think I'm really optimistic and reinforced by this conference that we've got such strengths in robotics and automation more generally, and we need to deploy those strengths.
My key takeaway is that I should be talking to the team even more about what's next. So how are we looking at what we're doing? How can we look at automation? How can we look at processes that we're doing, and where would robotics or automation add value?
The MTC is a place that can provide that independent support and advice. Also, other members of the High Value Manufacturing Catapult, of which we are also a member. But there are also other groups out there, so the Made Smarter program is there to help businesses adopt digital technologies, including robots. So there are sources of independent support out there that businesses can reach out to, and a lot of that is provided free of charge. So it is accessible. But those businesses that are interested, the thing to do first is pick up the phone and give us a call. If we're not the right people to help, we can point them at other businesses that can also help.